5 years ago this week, Keith Olbermann was suspended from MSNBC. We talked then about the suspension, the donations the political donations he made without pre-clearing them with MSNBC executives, his ultimate demise at MSNBC, and all of the factors at play, including the Comcast purchase of MSNBC and so many other things. And what I still remember from that entire incident is the absurd double standard that exists, not necessarily at MSNBC. MSNBC had this policy and they were doing what they were doing, but the hypocrisy, or rather the lack of standards that some of the other networks have. I mean, Fox News regularly has their on-air talent participating in all sorts of Republican events, all sorts of interest group events, etc. And it's just sort of part of the MO, the standard operating procedure over there. And Keith Olbermann here failed to pre-clear and report these relatively small donations that he made. Now, I don't make political donations, and I really want to be able to say that what I say on air is sort of the full extent of my involvement with a particular candidate or organization. So I do not make any political donations. My political support of candidates comes on the show. And if I haven't said that I've endorsed someone, or if I haven't said I'm voting for a particular person, then there are no financial donations that you can track down because I simply do not make them. And I also try to go out of my way when it's reasonable to mention if there's any other financial connection that I have. So I own some shares of Tesla, the American automaker. It's a company that I believe will do well. I try whenever I remember, and I think most of the time I successfully do this, mention when we do a story about Tesla that in the interest of full disclosure, I own some shares of Tesla. Now, I really don't own shares of very many companies directly, but I do, when I have some extra money, put it into a retirement account, which holds mutual funds. And the mutual funds are very broad. One is called the Total Stock Market Index, which presumably tracks the entire market, the entire stock market of the US. There is no doubt that in those mutual funds, there are probably oil companies, there are pharmaceutical companies, there are all sorts of companies. And that gets a little tough to track. We're talking about thousands and thousands of companies. But to the extent that I am aware, I try to make any financial conflicts or I wouldn't call them conflicts, but entanglements known. And Keith Olbermann was not trying to hide this, and he ultimately paid a really big price, losing his spot at MSNBC. Meanwhile, we see such atrocious, vile, and nauseating financial conflicts of interest among so many others in our media. Sort of feel bad for Keith Olbermann, no question about that.